Greetings! Today I will be making the useless useful, and what you see over here, this is two items that I've tore down previously. This is the Powersafer goodbye standby, all kinds of nonsense, piece of junk that doesn't work because physics, and this is the IKEA Ansluta that I've picked up for £3 from IKEA on one of my visits. I've tore this down apart as well, and what this is a remote switch with a nice wall style clicky on-off switch. That's the transmitter and the receiver over here, which actually switches the power on and off and so on. And I've got some miscellaneous hardware, and this bit, if you haven't seen the video, I'll probably link it in the description for both of them. This is a box that's meant to save power. Now I must admit, I did try to shift this back on eBay for £1 twice. No one wants it. I think those two will make a perfect marriage. So this will fit inside of this, but well, the good thing about this Powersafer thing, it's got really high quality cord and high quality socket on the other end. This is all proper, you know, British standard thing, and it's really high quality. It's not like a Chinese thing. I think this whole thing is assembled in UK, so they had to go through some approvals and whatnot. So what I'll be making out of this is an extension cord, which has a modest length, maybe like 1.5 meters, but at the end I will get a socket that I'll be able to control remotely. So I'll get a remote controlled extension cord, which is kind of useful if you've got a lamp somewhere in an unusual place or whatnot. Besides the night lamps, I hate those switches that are mounted, you know, the moving bar thing that you have to reach inside the shade and find it where at what angle is. Who the hell came up with that idea for a switch should be crucified. Anyways, let's get on with this. First, let's take the Powersafer thing apart. Keep the screws, I will need them to put it back together. One stubborn one, come on. There we go. And crack it open. Oh, you don't have to crack it open, it falls apart by itself. Let's take the board out. So now we've got the wires, and the wires will have to desolder. So let's power up the soldering station and let's get going. I'm first going to just get those preheated up by adding a tiny bit of solder in here. That's a tip for you. If you add a little bit of fresh solder onto the tip of your iron, it just makes a better thermal contact with the pad and makes it easier to melt. Bam, that's done. So we've got this board, and this board we're not going to be using in this project, but that's not going to go in the bin. There's far too many interesting parts on here. Now we've got bare wires on here with the earth very nicely kept intact. So the earth is connected all the way through to the receiving end, and we've got lives and neutrals, and the neutrals have to be stuck together, and I think they are in this as well. So yeah, let's take this apart. And the board. Okay, we've got a switch here for something, I'm not sure what. So I might be needing that switch to come outside. Forgot about that, but conveniently I've got a switch over here and an LED which is over here as well, so I could reuse this board that fits nicely in the slot and connect this switch and this LED to this board so I can have access to it. Perfect. So we keep that. And so over here we've got which one's in, which one's out. Well, that's in and that's out. Out has got the security thing, so you don't do pokey thing in there and get electrocuted. This is input. Input live goes into the fuse, and output live goes out of the relay, and the neutrals are commoned up together. So off to the solder again. Ow, ow, ow. Fuse is getting hot. I need more ice. There we go, that's gonna be much better. So yeah, having the right tools for the job always helps. It would be nice to have a high thermal capacity iron like some people do, but unfortunately that's beyond my budget. So yeah, we've got that out. Now, before I desolder anything over here, let's have a look at those two circuits, because we're going to be marrying them together. So we've got the switch, and the switch is pulling thing to ground, and we've got LED, but LED goes through two resistors over here, but it's not going directly to ground, and that's a little bit of a problem, because over here the LED goes to ground, and the switch goes to ground. So yeah, slightly different circuit, but that doesn't matter. I'll guess what I'll have to do is desolder everything from here, break the tracks, and just solder directly onto the pads where the components go. One more thing, this is actually a 2-color LED, so it's got 3 pins, and this is just a standard 2-pin LED. So probably desolder this one off and desolder one from here and put it in here, just to make it that bit easier. And besides, I can use that somewhere. You never know when you need a 2-color LED. So yeah, let's do this one first. Perfect. And now I have to pick what pins I use for the different pads. So we've got here a switch, so I marked it, that goes to switch, and another one goes here. So we've got those two for switch, and I can use those two for the LED. Can you see that? Yeah, so you can see this one going to switch and this one going to switch. The LED had 3 pins, and the common pin, whether anode or cathode, that's undecided. Oh, actually it's not connected to the pad, to the switch. Anyways, it did look like that before I took the glue off, but okay, never mind. I'll still do what I said I'm gonna do. So let's move to the switchboard. Just mark the LED which way the polarity was. There we go. That's out. So the wick should do a better job. Let's see. There we go. That's a little bit better. And yeah, I've got the paste thing. I'll clean that up later. Let's see how are we going to mount this in the enclosure. So we do have a hole in here, but the hole is not very conveniently placed. So if I can make my own one, I think like so. So that's roughly about here and here ish. Yeah, and this way all the leads are going to reach into the right places. I'll splash the solder over this. And I should be able to fit this in. One thing, I'll probably need to modify the case a tiny bit here, all the way to the end. So let's cut this out. Yeah, and when it's gonna sit in, it'll be fine. Okay, I've got some 4 strap wires, 4 different colors, and I need them roughly, yeah, let's say this long. Okay, here's the LED. I'm gonna put that in. Now I use the standoff from the original 3-wire LED over here just to keep the same distance, and I should be able to tag that in place. Yeah, that's all of them sitting here nicely. Okay, we've got a switch and an LED wired up. Just over here, I'm going to add a little bit of solder onto the top of the pad so it makes a nice blob. So which one are those? Switch, and those 2. Yep, and the LED can go right in the hole and be soldered through hole. Okay, that's done. Soldered in. I'm just gonna tidy it up a little bit with alcohol. This is, by the way, just denatured alcohol from local hardware store, but does reasonably okay job dissolving flux, and it's electrically safe. The only thing is it smells a little bit. Okay, so now we've got the board like this, and yeah, that should be good for our purpose. Now what I've got to do now is just do a test fit, and yeah, that will work the charm. The only thing, I need to drill a hole, so let's double check that I've got the marking right. Yeah, it should be okay, and I can see through it itself to drill on the other side, because it will come up somewhere here and there's nothing in here. So that's done. So now I have to connect all the mains wires in and out. So I've got neutrals coming in here, live coming in here, and live coming out here out of the relay. So let's identify what's what. So we've got neutrals and live coming out shorter from here, perfect, and the longer one to here, easy. The only thing is there's so much solder on here, this will be again a little bit painful to solder back up. Excuse here the vertical shots, you won't be able to see much, but I guess this is the only way I will be able to get to it to show anything on the camera, because I can't desolder that much solder out. But if I heat it up and at the same time insert the wire, that should do the trick, and it seems to be working. Perfect, I think that's done. I should be able to first of all screw this back in. Okay, that fits in really nicely. Now this should fit in here. Okay, that fits as well. Now the switch and LED thingy-ma-thing. Okay, that fits together. So the last bits, 4 screws, and let's test it. Okay, screws are in, and now we need to put some germs inside this, batteries. Okay, now I need a test subject. What should I test? I know, I'll test my light over here. So, darkness. Darkness. That goes in, that goes into the socket, and let's see what happens. Well, oh, hold on, I didn't put it right because the switch is not moving. Okay, I've put this together wrong, and turns out the switch has got a tiny notch somewhere, and if you don't put it right, it doesn't go all the way in, but keeps pressing on the switch, and who knew, right? So let's take 2 step into darkness. Of course, it's not complete darkness because we're in daylight. I've just knocked something off. Power on. And press the button. Let there be light. Press it again. Let there be darkness. Excellent, so that works. Now this. No. Nope. 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 Why you no receiving? I think there must be some sort of way to pair it up, because, well, technically you can have more than one of those at any given time. Okay, there you go. Setting up your remote control. IKEA's got you covered in 26 different languages. Anyways, setting up your remote control. Before you can use your remote control, you will need to complete a one-time setup process to pair the remote with the lights. Okay, press and hold the transmitter button. But what's the transmitter? This is the Okay, pictures. So number 1, press the button on the squarey bit, so this, until it starts flashing. Then I press on. And which is on? The on is the one without a circle inside, so it's a dot. Okay, so press and hold that until it starts flashing. Idiot. The remote is here. Once again, press and hold. Well, it's not pairing. Okay, now check this out, and this is probably the reason why this thing was on clearance. IKEA doesn't put often stuff on clearance, but it says press and hold the on button, and I was pressing the on button, this one here, it says on there, just there, but it wouldn't pair. But if I did the same thing with off button, which says off, it paired straight away. And yeah, probably there is a typo in the instructions and they put it on clearance, so you can't refund it, so they sell it for cheap. But there we go. Now I've got a useful thing made out of useless stuff, which what this was. I can maybe put it in kids' room or connect it to a TV so no one knows, and I'll be like click, click, click. Well, I've just realized the Ansluta thing comes with those sort of mounting brackets. I think they were meant for the bigger box, but yeah, what I'm thinking of doing is cutting the thick bit off like so. There we go. And then I should be able to, yes, perfect. When it's in storage I can log this onto the box and it stays in one place. So is that straight? It is straight-ish. There we go. Now a little bit of super glue. And I've let the glue set for a while now, and there we go. 1 and 2 and click, and that's one piece, and you can take it off. So it's a neat way to store it. Well, the more I do with this, the more amazed I am how perfect marriage that is, don't you think? Anyways, I hope I've inspired you to do something interesting from junk lying around. And yeah, for the time being, take care, thanks for watching, and subscribe for more random stuff. Give me a like if you enjoyed this video. That's all. Take care.